Hey gang, in this video, I'm going to walk you through CultureGrams and what you will need to do and where you will need to look to fill out column 3 in your Elements of Culture handout. Now, your Elements of Culture handout, the first column here, a cultural element, list and explain, that should be done already. That was all based on that Elements of Culture reading. And you'll notice in that Elements of Culture reading, each of the elements is bolded with a heading, and then there's a description on that. So you should have either read that and filled this out or used our class set of slides to fill that out. And then this middle column should also be filled out where it talks about an example from your own personal culture. And that brings us over to column 3, another country's culture. Select a country, use CultureGrams to learn more. And what you're going to be doing is, for example, the first element of culture is, of course, ethnic groups. And so you would have ethnic groups filled in here along with the description. You would have your own life. And then whatever country you choose, you would put in info about that country's ethnic group. Now, we're going to, as I said, be using CultureGrams. It is linked here along with the username, STMA, and the password Knights. We're going to be using that website to help us find the info. Now, CultureGrams is a terrific website. When you go log in the first time, you're going to see a couple of different editions. You've got your World Edition, your Kids Edition, and then States and Provinces. There's a lot of info here, and in an effort to help simplify your life and to streamline it, we have also put together a PDF called Elements of Culture, where to find the info in CultureGrams. And you'll notice it's color-coded, World Edition in blue, Kids Edition in green, and then we have our elements here. So today what I want to do right now is walk through just a couple of these different elements in both editions so that you become familiar with this. Now, this is geared towards a desktop or a Chromebook. If you're on a mobile device, these menus that I'm going to be looking through are still available, but it's more of a drop-down menu rather than clicking around on the side, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. So let's talk about ethnic groups in the World Edition. Notice it says World Edition, and then it says the people, population. So let's explore our World Edition, and we go ahead and click on it, and then you find your region, or you can pick your country from the drop-down menu up top here, but I'm going to go ahead and click on Europe, and then let's travel to Lithuania. All right. And when you first get to Lithuania and your country's main page, before you do anything at all, take a moment and just look around CultureGrams and soak it all in. Skim the did you knows. Like, did you know basketball is Lithuania's most popular sport? I did not know that, for example. But take a look and just kind of skim through it. You've got this little infographic here, which gives you a nice snapshot of the people of Lithuania. And so just take a look at that. Some of these things you might know what they mean, some of them you might not yet, but just again, take a look at it. For example, 77% of Lithuanians are Roman Catholic. So that gives you kind of some insight. 84% are ethnically Lithuanian. These are all info that we're going to need later, but just take a look around. You can look at the flag. It will describe the flag. You could listen to the anthem, all kinds of good stuff. We even have a photo gallery. Check out the photo gallery of your countries to get a vibe for what your country is all about. And if you click on them, for example, this one that says summertime, if you click on them, it will load it up, and then it will even tell you what we're looking at here in terms of what the picture is. This is much more reliable than simply just going on a Google image search, much more reliable. So there we've got a photo gallery, which is super helpful. We've also got interviews that you can listen to, famous people, recipes, check that out. Look at that. You could go ahead and make yourself some Kapilani, potatoes, and beef, milk curd, and mushrooms. Interesting. I will save that one for later. Anyway, so here is the blue edition. Those are just kind of the general features of it. And then over here on the left-hand side, we've got all these headings: background, the people, customs and courtesies, lifestyle, so on and so forth. And notice we are looking for ethnic groups. And so on the World Edition, we're going to want to look at the people, and then population. So we come over here under the people, and here we see population. We go ahead and click on that, and it brings us to this page here, and it gives us some background info on Lithuania. And I just want to read through it to give you an idea of what you should be looking for. Most people in Lithuania are ethnic Lithuanian, but the country is also home to Poles, Russians, and Belarusians. Other minorities include Ukrainians and Jews. Minority groups have generally integrated into Lithuanian culture, but Russian and Polish groups have their own churches and schools. All the nation's minorities have full citizenship rights and are treated equally. Vilnius is the capital and largest city with a population of 500,000. Other cities include Kaunas, Klaipėda, and Šiauliai. Probably not pronouncing those correctly. But here's the deal. On your Elements of Culture handout, where it says for example, ethnic groups, you would probably write something like 84% are ethnic Lithuanian, but also you would want to note significant minorities of Poles, Belarusians, and Russians, right? This is all good info. Don't just simply write 84% Lithuanian. It's more to it than that. But that's what it would look like on the World Edition. Now, you might have noticed that we also have this Green Kids Edition where we would find ethnic groups. And we're going to open up the Kids Edition just to compare and contrast what the differences look like. And when you are on your main Lithuanian country page, for example, over here on the right-hand side, it says Kids Edition. I'm just going to open that in a new tab so we can get the side-by-side view. And over here on the Kids Edition, we have the same features, the same Did You Know, actually a little bit more fun on the Kids Edition. But we've got the same infographics, all of the same info. We've got maps. Check out the detail map. Look at that. Look at that. It's got some sweet facts about it. For example, thousands of vacationers each year enjoy the sandy beaches and pine forests on the Baltic coast. Good to know. But anyway, let's stay focused here, Canton. We know that on our 8 elements of culture, where to find the info for the kids edition on ethnic groups. So we need to go to people and place and population. So here we are. People and place is our heading, and then our subheading is population. And if I were to read about the population here, I would just see most is ethnic Lithuanian. The largest minority in groups are Poles and Russian. Groups such as, and it goes on to list, are a small percentage. Now, if we compare those two side by side, and this is why I say you're going to probably want to use both of these resources. Notice on the blue version over here on the left, it is much more detailed and it gives you specific facts and figures, whereas over here it says most of the population is ethnic Lithuanian. That's true, but most could be 51% or 99%, but over here we see it's actually 84%. So I would recommend for all of this, as best as you can, start with the blue version. Start with the blue version and then maybe go into the green version if need be. Some things are only found in the blue version. For example, customs. You will only find customs in the blue version. Our Green Kids version does not have anything at all about customs, whereas our blue version has literally an entire heading about it, along with 4 different subcategories or subheadings. So start with the blue and then move to the green if need be. But there also might be some times, let's take an example for history, where if you look at history, where you might click on history and it might be a little overwhelming. And so, for example, if we look at history, which is under the background section on the blue version, we see that holy cats, there's a lot of info there in the history section on our blue version. Not that it's bad, but maybe skim the big headings, skim the subheadings, because with history, what you're going to be trying to do is you are going to be trying to fill in one little box all about the country's history, but maybe try and focus on 2 or 3 key details within their history section. And that's where, actually, if we click on history in the kids version, it breaks it down. It's a little bit easier to find, and you might want to just pick 2 or 3 of these historical events. Like here with Lithuania, we see Russian occupation. That might be a big event. We might see Soviet rule might be a big event, and we might see achieving independence once again might be a big event. Whereas on the blue version, we could read about those in more depth and more detail, but really you're going to want to pick out just 2 or 3 events that you feel are big, for example, on the history version. But again, start with blue and then head to green if need be. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by the blue version, then maybe mostly live in the green version. But that's really your job, right? Eventually, you're going to be filling out your entire Elements of Culture handout, all 8 columns with good specific details using CultureGrams, using the World Edition, using the Kids Edition, the blue and the green. If you're unsure about what a certain element means, there is, of course, the reading that you can refer back to, but really most of your work is going to be living here in CultureGrams. As you do this research, what I really want you to focus on, though, is enjoying learning about another country's culture. Soak it in, read it in, and just really immerse yourself in that country and their culture. Listen to, the language. You can listen to what the language sounds like. Listen to the anthem. Look at the pictures. There's so much here, and don't simply make this a scavenger hunt looking for the info, but really enjoy learning about those countries that you have chosen and their culture. So there you have it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Best of luck, and I will talk to you later. See ya.